Hello beautiful people and welcome back to our today's tutorial. This is as requested by one of our subscribers, and remember, at the end of this tutorial you are going to learn how best to solve problems on system of equations, or what we call the simultaneous equations, those ones that involve one linear and one quadratic. There are still cases of those that involve two linear. I will leave the link of such case in the description below. Now, when you talk about system of equation or simultaneous equation, it means you are having two, three or more equations in a problem. So we say it is system of equation, and in that case you are having two or more variables. And in this question we want to see how best to solve this. Now let's do this together. So to answer this question, what do? We're going to begin with solution. Now this is quadratic. When you look at it, you will notice that the highest power of x in this question is 2. So that has made it quadratic. Okay. Now you ask me, what about y? Y has its highest power to be 2, but it doesn't have any value. So this is what we have, and that's what to work with. Now in this case, you will notice that the highest power of y and x here are both 1. So you still see why we call it linear. Now if that is cleared, to answer this, we are going to now have, this will give us y is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 2. Then this is y is equal to negative x plus 3. So we can label this equation 1 and this is equation 2. So what is your observation? Look at it critically. You can pause the video. So what do you think we should do from here? Now what we are going to do is, since we have noticed that the both are equal to y is equal to this and y is equal to this. What does it mean? Y is the same. So it means that we can now say that this, so we are going to replace the first one with the value of y in the second. Or you can replace the y of here, whichever way you want to do it. Okay? So we can now say replace y into equation 1. So in that case, we are going to replace this y with whatever value of y we have here. So that is going to give us negative x plus 3, which is this. Replacing this is equal to x squared plus 3x minus 2. Did you see what we've gotten now? So what do we do again? Remember, this is quadratic as we said it earlier. So you are going to gather it in a way that it looks more presentable. So in that case, we are going to have, remember, when you say that a is equal to b, it means that b is equal to a. So in this case, we can now say that x squared plus 3x minus 2 is also equal to negative x plus 3. Now at this point, what do? This is going to give us x squared plus 3x minus 2. Remember, this is negative x. So because it's negative x, if it changes position to the left side, it becomes positive x. Okay. Now this will also take it to the other side. It becomes negative 3 and everything is equal to 0. I hope it's clear. So at this point, what do you do again? We're going to now have x squared plus 3x plus this x minus 2 minus 3 is equal to 0. So let's simplify. X squared, if you add this, is going to give you 4x. Remember, the coefficient is 1. That's why we got 4x, okay? But we don't usually put it since we've known it's 1. So we now have this will give us negative 5 is equal to 0. So we have gotten a complete quadratic equation of one variable, okay? This one is of two variables and this is of one variable because the letter here or the unknown here is only x. So we can easily solve this now. So to solve this now, there are so many methods you can use. There are many of them, the factoring, use of formula, and the rest. So in this context, we are going to see how to use the factoring method. So what do you do in the factoring? You are going to get, remember, the quotient of x squared here is 1. So we don't have issue with what I want to do now, okay? So what we are going to do now is get two factors of this 5, that when you multiply it, it will give you this negative 5. And when you add those two factors, it will give you positive 4. I hope what I explained is clear. Now, what are those two factors? You get it from the factors of 5. and the factors of 5 are only 5 and 1 because 5 is a prime. So what it means is that if I have 5 and 1, I can have 5 minus 1. Okay, if you subtract this, it gives you 4, and if you multiply this, it will give you negative 5. Did you see it? So it means you are taking positive 5 and negative 1. Here is also positive 5 and negative 1, so that it will give you this, and when you multiply, it gives you this. So at this point, what do? We are going to now bring down this x squared. We have x squared. Now, this 4 will be replaced with these two factors we've gotten, which will now be positive 5x, then this will be negative 1x. And this negative 1x, like we said, is just the same thing as saying negative x. You see, when you now say 5x minus x, it gives you back 4x. So we're going to bring down this negative 5 equal to 0. So what is your observation? You observe that we did not use this value again. Rather, we brought this down and brought this down, but replace the middle value with the two factors. So that is what we meant by the factoring method. So in this case now, we are going to gather them in pairs. Gather in pairs. So the common term here, or the highest common factor here, is x. So you factor it out. Use it to divide x squared. If you divide x squared by x, remember x squared is x times x. If you divide it, it's going to give you x. Okay, then what do you do again? Divide 5x by x. That will give us 5. Did you see that? So what you do next is you factor. What is common here? This is negative, so it's common. You factor it, and 1 is common in the 2. That's the highest common factor for these two. So when I factor it out, use this negative 1 to divide negative x. It will give us what? It will give us x. Then use this to divide this. It will give us 5, positive 5 equal to 0. So did you observe that the two values in the bracket are the same? So you collect this one outside and one of the ones in the bracket. So we're going to have x minus 1 and x plus 5 is equal to 0. So when you have this being equal to 0, it means that, what it means says that x minus 1 is equal to 0, or x plus 5 is equal to 0. So it means to remove this x, to get the value of x, you remove this, and that means you are going to add 1 to both sides. So if you add 1 here, it becomes what? 0. And this add 1 here becomes plus 1. So x will give us 1. Then if you do same here, subtract 5 from both sides. If you subtract 5 here, it becomes 0. Subtract 5 from 0, it becomes negative 5. So you see the two values of x we've gotten. Now with these two values of x, what do? We are now going to substitute in either of these two equations as given to get the real value of y. So let's substitute. So we can choose to substitute it in either equation 1 or 2. So let's use the simpler equation, which is 1. So we're going to put x values. So in that case, we choose for when x is 1. So when x is 1, put it here. We're going to have y is equal to negative x is 1 plus 3. And y will give us, subtract this, you are going to have 2. Okay? Then when x is negative 5, also put it here. We're going to have y is equal to negative, our x is negative 5. So we have this. Then plus 3. So if you simplify this, negative multiplies negative is giving us positive 5 plus 3. So y will give us 8. Now these are the values we got. So what it means is that when x is 1 and our y will be what? 2. So we are making it to be in pairs. Then for this, it means when x is negative 5 and y is 8. So these are the pairs of values of x and y in this tutorial. And I hope this was well understood. Remember, you can ask questions in the comment section. If this tutorial helps, let's know how much in the comments. Subscribe for the more you will get, and give this tutorial a thumbs up. I will see you in our next, and bye-bye.